I'm back. How y'all doing? Hope you had a good Christmas if you go for that sort of thing. And the non-commercial aspect. And also, we here don't, this is what they will call New Year's Eve Day. And we don't really call it New Year's anymore. We call it Happy New Life. So Happy New Life, everybody. And after midnight today, I guess. And I just want to go over a few things. I'm going to go through our blog. Seems people are not maybe being drawn to the blog there, so I'm going to go through that and show you some stuff there so you're familiar with it to navigate. But first, I just wanted to touch on a couple things here and make sure people are very clear on this. This is about control, not ownership. And if you're receiving liabilities, debts, obligations, blah, 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 subject to courts and all that sort of stuff, then you're on the liability / ownership end of the stick. And it's purely because you don't have control. It's really that simple. If you're not in control, someone else is. So again, this is the registration of birth security, foundational security. If you don't have control of this, someone else does. Very, very important to understand that everything hinges on starting right here. This is the foundation that your life started here. This registration of birth in the commercial world, and if you don't have, like I say, if you don't have control, someone else does. And right now, if you're, stuck with the liabilities, and which is just basically that's saying I'm an owner. You're on the ownership side of the fence, and that's where the liabilities are coming from. When you get on the control side of the fence, there's no more liabilities. It's remember, we're talking about everything in the public is backwards 180 degrees. So we're talking about putting that back in its proper perspective, change of status of sorts. So, and the other thing is too, I get some comments and questions, all good. But just to help people along here, and people are asking me, well, have others had success? This information's been out since approximately 2012. The Reclaim Your Securities, and a lot of people have had a lot of success. I don't know all of them. I'm not the only guy doing this. And like I said, it's initiated with someone from the IRS coming out and sharing some information with the primary mentor, Bill, the guru, who then started up the Reclaim Your Securities Yahoo group and brought that information forward. And then, of course, I got that from my mentors. And so it's really not. And so the answer to the question is yes, people have had success. And what does that mean? Get rid of their debts? Clearly, getting out of jail? Yes. Getting rid of mortgages, car payments, blah, blah, blah. Absolutely. No question. But that's really not the question I think people should be asking. They should be saying to themselves, or this is just a self-analysis thing. I'm not trying to say anything here, but after that, especially after the first video, but if you've gone through all of our YouTube videos, and especially the first one, if you can see the sense that knowing you don't have control of this and that taking control of this will change everything for you, if you can see the sense of that, the possibility of that, then that's what you should be latching on to. Is not what other people have done. At the end of the day, it's irrelevant. A guy goes to school to become a brain surgeon. He's a brain surgeon. He can do brain surgery just because he's had success at that. Does that mean I have? If I went into a hospital tomorrow to perform brain surgery, I'm going to kill somebody. So it's really, again, understanding the principles and the concepts, and it is really very, very simple. Okay, so the question I quite often put back to people, and they don't understand where I'm coming from, but it says, well, what do you think? Do you think you could have success? It doesn't matter what other people have done, what success they could have. If you can see the sense of this and it resonates with you, then you can see the potential, and you'll be your own success. In other words, this is not like the old religious thing where somebody's going to come along and save you. You're really saving yourself here, and everyone has to do that. And one other thing on that, some people are going to talk to outside parties like lawyers and government people and church people and about this sort of thing. And I can assure you, and it's going to be a very, very rare case where anyone's going to know about this stuff, that they're going to talk about this stuff. And dealing with my mentors when they were, learning the accounting side of this, there is not a single solitary accountant on this planet that understands this process. You see, they go to school, they're taken to school by the taxing authorities. They're told how to fill out the forms. They're told this means that, and that means this, and do it like this, not like that. That's all they know. It's all compartmentalized. And so if you go to outside parties to talking to them, you're really wasting your time and you're deceiving yourself in doing that. The best you're going to get from them, if anything, is deception. Not that it's intentional, but it's going to mislead you. And I'd be very cautious about this. And once I got the understanding of side, I don't go to anywhere. I go to myself. I go to the books. I go to my studies. I'm going to show you this later, but this is my Bible right here. Okay, as I was going through the Yahoo posts, all 600, 700, 800 pages of it, I'll get further into that here in a moment. I printed off for myself, made my own booklet by copying, pasting various parts of these Reclaim Your Securities and itemizing it and putting an index so I know where everything is. And this is wherever I go, I take it with me. It's my study book. I don't read it so much anymore, but every now and again, I like to go back and just stay refreshed, stay on point, make sure my mind's not playing tricks on me and little deviations coming in. But that's the kind of thing, so people, when they get access to the information, which I'm going to go to here shortly, how you educate yourself is up to you. I tell people, download all the information, organize it your way, the way you do your research. Don't and stick to that kind of plan and program. And again, understanding paperwork without understanding the principles and the concepts of reclaiming your securities here is basically a waste of time. You'll be wasting your time. So thinking just by going what you see on those videos and stuff, if you haven't studied the Reclaim Your Securities posts, what I call the posts, like I say, about 700, 800 pages of that. Now it's not as much, it's not as bad as it sounds. It's not like it's a 800-page book where every page is full of text. It's various email exchanges. So some of them are very small. So it seems like a lot, but it's not that much. And there's a lot of repetitiveness. And of course, the repetitiveness is good because we are renewing the mind here. This is a renewing of the mind process. And there's a lot of things to let go of. I propose that. And I suggest you do let go of these things, but that's on you to come to that decision. This is a whole new perspective. And speaking for myself, I took pretty much everything I learned in the previous 17, 18 years in this 21-year journey and threw it away. It focused on this sort of thing here only, and that understanding. And it comes down to some real basic, simple concepts. Once you see them, then you'll see every transaction is exactly the same. And it's really not complicated. So, but as of now, so if you're on the liability defense, it's because you do not have control. Simple as that. So clearly, deductive reasoning suggests that, well, if I take control, then that stuff stops. And that's true. So what I want to do here, I'm going to take it to our blog here. Just go through our blog, which is referenced in some of the videos. It will be referenced in all future videos, 100%. And there's additional information here. So here, I'm just going to do a screen share. This is the homepage to the blog. The blog is at restorethekingdomofgod.blogspot.com. That'll get you here. Starts with a little experience a friend of mine had in the traffic court with the birth certificate, how he's able to settle that matter using the birth certificate. Now we talk about that in our Zoom meetings. Although he was able to settle the matter, it wasn't really the proper way to do that. There's a better way to do it, far more effective. And let me put it this way, a proper way to do that. So there's a bunch of information here. You'll see, come back to these click here buttons. All the way down here, there's access to our YouTube, BitChute, and Brighteon. And also, if you want to contact us, there's a Contact Us button. You click on that, you go through a little process, and that'll get an email to us, a message to us directly. While you're here, there's a click here button here. This one is click for sample events. So you click on that, and that will bring you to this document here. This is a sample of some of those Reclaim Your Securities posts I've spoke about, and I put some key ones in here to give people an idea of what Reclaiming Your Securities is about. And all I can tell you is, in all honesty, everyone I know that has got back to me that has got the Reclaim Your Securities information has realized that all the roads they have gone down were dead-end roads, and even things they were currently thinking of doing, which is an exercise of futility. So there's a whole bunch of additional information here at this blog. And again, this is what we call some introduction to the education material, and it's under the sample of info button at the blog there. It'll take you through some concepts here, and quite a few pages, and at the end there's a transcript of an audio call I had, chat I had with my mentors. Back to here. Just going to skip this one here for a moment and come down to here. If you click on the uniform securitization scheme, that'll bring you up to this document here. Okay, which is a very, very interesting read, and everyone should be reading all of this information. But this uniform securitization scheme takes us from the time, when the birth takes place in the hospital, what's transpiring there at the county, at the state, provincial level, and it all ends up at the end of the day in the custody of the Fed. It starts in the state or the province, but this ends up on the Fed side. And if you read this uniform securitization scheme, you can follow that trail and see how everything's in account. They're opening up accounts along the way. And that's the significance of name and number, you see. It's not just name. So that's a must read. Very good document. This again was done by Bill, the fellow that started the Reclaim Your Securities group, Yahoo group. Back to here to the blog. Now, if you click on this button here, must read, it'll bring you up to the document. It's titled Rules of the Game and How to Play. Again, additional insight into what's going on here. Starting with that fearing, people being afraid of the all capital letters, names, so on and so forth. The method we use to take control is recognized by and binding on banks, the crown governments, and courts. I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. All entities that partake in commercial activity are bound by UCC Article 8 and 9. Not limited to that, but that's our main focus here. This method of relief is effective in any country that is registered with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. And this process or this method here for relief is not paperwork intensive. It's not like you got to do up 55 pages of this and 45 pages of that and mass mailings of this and blah 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 blah. That's all it is, blah 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 blah. Some people are very impressed that they have 800 400 page court filings. Who reads that? Nobody. So this is all to make a point here. Self-help for self-empowerment. This is not, again, just to reiterate, this we're not at the outfit where you we tell you, okay, you do this, and when you've done that, let us know. We'll tell you what to do next. No. That's not what we do here. This is all self-education. You get all the information to educate yourself, but we are here to support that. I'll get into that a bit more down here. So I see this additional information here. And including, your mother was the grantor of the foundational security, which we talked about in the first video. But also down here, then you'll see what you're getting. What's our package or information? The Reclaim Your Securities information package consists of. Well, it's down here. So you'll find that there, as well as the price for the information in US dollars. It's US dollars. And aside from the 4-step comes with everything you need to accomplish the objective to take control of and over the all caps name, your estate, public estate, your securities. The 4-step information package comes with all the required documentation, the templates, over 40 hours of Zoom audio and video tutorials covering each of the 4 steps. And there's more to it. Doesn't stop at the 4 steps. That's why you want to go through the information. Don't assume and presume things. And it also comes with 2 hours consultation. That's telephone consultation. That's private consultation, one-on-one consultation. You'll also be invited from time to time to partake in random question and answer Zoom meetings. So I got to tell you here is our information package comes with private one-on-one consultation, as well as the opportunity to partake in random Q&A Zoom meetings. This alone is invaluable for people to help them along, to assist with the proper interpretation of Reclaim Your Securities information and to clear up uncertainty. Competence is important here, people. So you want to make sure you avoid doing things in the way that makes it look like you are or you will be deemed incompetent. Reclaiming your securities is a bit like threading a needle. You want to thread the eye of the needle first go round. None of this, I'll just throw darts and hopefully one of them hits the bullseye. That's all just slave mentality. And that's just, that's nonsense, complete and total nonsense. So, like I say, competence. And like I mentioned before, I know people are going to run off with what they get off the YouTube videos thinking they know things. And I can pretty much assure them, every one of them, they're going to fail. Again, but that's, having said that, I don't know what they know. So there's a possibility that they won't. And again, the tough part here is this is definitely a perspective shift for people. I call it a renewing of the mind. It's talked about in the Bible, renewing of the mind. I'm not saying this is a biblical renewing of the mind, but it's definitely a renewing of the mind going on here. We have been indoctrinated to think a certain way. This is teaching us, this is bringing forth information to show us now how they think, how they're operating in this system, how this system, the basis of the system, the inner workings of the system, what everyone is involved in, and, partaking in commercial activity. That's not a problem. It's in the Bible there, can't serve two masters, and it's been broken down. You can't serve God and mammon, and some of that mammon's been translated to be loving money and partaking in commercial activity. It's not that at all. But we're all, so it's partaking in commercial activity is not bad. Activity is not bad. What's bad, if bad is the proper word, it's we don't understand what's going on. That's all it is. Once you have the understanding, then commerce is great. Seriously. So the complete information education package price is $300 US. And just a list of some of the benefits here that you can achieve. And this list is not by any means exhaustive. Correction of your status, no longer presumed to be the citizen, debtor, trustee, or surety. Sole control of and over your securities, your public estate, and by extension, control of and over your life, freedom, and all property, which includes our children. Asset protection. Redirect claims, orders, etc., to the two trustees / securities intermediary for full settlement and closure. Relief from debt, court and government claims, lawsuits, the taxman, bills, debt collectors, mortgages, auto loans, student loans, property taxes, etc., etc., etc. Relief from trespass by government and other actors. Recoupment. Talked about this previous meeting, I believe, or video. Recoupment, get back the profits and proceeds that the banks and others presumed you abandon because they presume you abandon your securities. Down then, if you want more information, there's information to contact me directly. And then, of course, if you want to proceed, the information is here how to proceed. And you would do that generally through the contact us button. And all you'd have to do is just request the payment information. And I'll send an email to you. You'll get an email for that. And down below here, last but not least, there's a few other little tidbits of interest and some testimonials. Richard Werner here with the banks do not take deposits or make loans. Comment from one of the people that signed up on how it changed his life. And fella here, Peter, who collected $21 million. It's actually the Canada Revenue Agency collected that $21 million from a bank note on his behalf, meaning he gave a security to a bank and they presumed he had abandoned it. And understand the leveraging, all of that, $1 million promise to pay can become very large. It's the fruits of the tree. It all belongs to whoever owns the security, has claimed the security. Fellow here, 2 sentences, got rid of $34,000 hospital debt. Anyhow, you can go through this and read it yourself. I'm not going to do it all for you, no indeed. So that's the kind of thing that's available at the blog. So don't forget to do that and visit the blog as mentioned in the videos. And so, as I say, paperwork without understanding the principles and the concepts is 99.9% of the time a waste of time. And that's why we have the Zoom meetings. That's why we offer the consultation, 2 hours of consultation. So as you're going through reading the Reclaim Your Securities post, and that's the first thing you should be doing because that's where you're going to get the understanding is there. The focus should not be, okay, I got to finish up my paperwork. I got to finish up my paperwork. I got to finish up my paperwork and get it in there. That's the wrong approach. You learn how to swim before you jump in the lake. You don't jump in the lake and then say, oh, geez, I don't know how to swim, and then try to get back to shore and start again. Like I say, huge part of this is competence. So you want to come across like you know what you're talking about here. And it's not like it's etched in stone, but people, you shouldn't be sloppy with this. Remember, you're dealing with organizations and entities that have been at this for a very long time, a very long time. They're very good at what they do. And it's not complicated what they do. Again, we've been indoctrinated to think one way, and they've been playing, to play the game of chess, for example, if you will, when they're actually playing checkers. So now we're learning to play by the rules of the game, the rules that they're playing by and that they are bound by. And also in the previous video 13, I mentioned that my original issue securities are exempt from levy. They're not taxable. Not the original issue, not our original issue. So for example, just example, $100,000 promissory note to a bank. There's no tax on that. However, when the bank presumes I abandon it, now they've got they just received $100,000 piece of property for nothing. They have to report that. The tax law requires it. Yes, we received something today from so-and-so who's abandoned it, whatever. We didn't give them any money for it. So they have to report that on the books. And they also have to report any capital gains, any profits that they get from that. If you just think about it, if you have a principal residence, that's one thing. But if you have a second residence and you dispose of it, there's a tax liability. If it's presumed you abandon that property and someone else picks it up, well, no, they've got the liability. There's no tax-free situation here except on the original issue security. So rightly speaking, us men and women should never be on the tax books as taxpayers, nor bearing the liability of paying the tax. The only ones that have the liability here to pay the tax are the ones that are profiting off of our property, our securities. That's the property in that system, not the substance, the form. So yeah, anyhow, so I hope that gives you a bit of an idea what's going on here at the blog. So as you're going through the videos, it directs you to the blog. You'll see the additional information at the blog, and hopefully that answers more of your questions or some of your questions. Yes, so we have the income tax bulletins, the ITA bulletin, respecting the disposition of securities, disposition of property, and which ties it all in with the requirement for whoever receives property to report that property, especially if they receive something for nothing. There is no, if in the eyes of the tax man, there is no something for nothing. There's always a tax liability associated with it, other than our original issue security. See, it's original issue. There's no profit here. There's no gain here. It's original issue. So when somebody takes that piece of property now and profits with it or gains with it in some way, shape, or form, bang, tax liability. So, and also when a trustee takes property, they've got to report that they received it. So again, when they're not giving equal value in exchange or anything at all for that matter, then there's definitely a trusteeship born there and a responsibility to do the accounting and report. So yeah, we have the ITA bulletins on that, income tax bulletins, clarifying all of that. And again, it's in the Income Tax Act, and it's what's not said in the Income Tax Act. But it's only, and if you understand what is taxed, for example, employee benefits are taxed, a company car could be taxed, company pays for your vacation, it's going to be taxed. It's all different perks, whatever, in the different countries. But you look at if you understand the tax law, what is taxable, it's pretty easy to see here why our original issue securities are not taxable. There's no benefit. You're not getting a benefit, your credit. There's no taxable benefit here in original issue securities. So yeah, so cool. And one other thing, people, and that is it's strongly recommended you don't go forth based on things you heard. This is where we provide the Reclaim Your Securities information so that you can see it for yourself and feel it for yourself and get to understand it for yourself. For example, running off down the street, running my original issue securities are not taxable because I heard it on a YouTube video would be really dumb. It would be really dumb. Again, paperwork and claims without the understanding of the principles and the concepts, you're wasting your time. You're going to look like a fool. A lot of different things are going to come about from that, none of which would be good or beneficial to you one iota. So anything and everything talked about here in these videos and through the blog and all that information, so on and so forth, it would be prudent for the true truth seeker to dig into these Reclaim Your Securities posts and the other information and whatever it takes to get the understanding before one moves forward. And one would never, ever, ever start making claims such as my original issue securities are not taxable unless he know where to show this to prove it. Not that you would have to prove it, but you want to be able to prove it in case you're called upon to prove it. Just like if, with respect to mom being the grantor, she didn't provide the will, so on and so forth. And um, so that's why you're not the beneficiary of this trust. And this is why we have to do the reclaim your securities process to get back to that point of being the beneficiary in a way that's recognized and binding by the system and the system people in the system and the operators of the system, and it's binding on them. So we never, ever, ever, ever make claims without having the knowledge behind us to back up what we're saying. And it's exceedingly important, and it would be very, very dumb to, like I say, just to go forth and, well, I heard it here and I heard it there, so I'm going to just repeat what I heard. That's not evidence of, that's not competence. That is not competence. Very important, this competence thing. So those that are licensed and trained to operate within the box, your doctors, your lawyers, your accountants, your church people, keeping in mind that churches are registered, and here in Ontario, Canada, anywhere, it's in an Attorney General puts it out, the Not-for-Profit Incorporators Handbook, and anytime a religious organization registered with the government, the church canon goes out the window, and the Canada Corporations Act applies. So those organizations out there, those churches that are issuing tax receipts, they're registered with the government. The Canada Corporations Act governs. Used to have in that manual, a big warning. They're warning, if you do this, this is what's going to happen. So you see, the churches are not speaking for God at all. So the point I'm making here is that all of these organizations and all the people that work for these organizations are trained to think in a box. And this reclaiming securities is from outside the box, and no one in the box can help you get out of the box because they're in the box. You're wasting your time to go to these people if that's what you're thinking. This is where it comes time to put your own thinking cap on now. Read and just use deductive reasoning and common sense as you go through the information, the reclaim your securities information, if you get the package, or wherever you think you're getting your information from. And so it's very important to think for yourself and don't doubt yourself. Trust yourself. I often steer people to Psalms 118:8. Put your confidence in God, not man. I used to laugh at people in 2008 in the big market crash. I said, well, it tells you right here, put your trust in God, not man. You all put your trust in man, you all got wiped out. Hello, lights are on. Is anybody home? There's not an institution by man on this planet that they come across on the TV like they're there to help you out, but it's all about the money. It's money, 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 money. That's all it is. Could care less about you and I. It's the money. That's what they're paid for. So in the box, people are not going to help you get out of the box. Not going to happen. And I guess that's enough here for this video. And so with that, I thank you for listening to me, for putting up with me. Again, I wish you all a happy new life about midnight tonight. Wait, start right now. Yeah, start right now. Every moment's a new life. The eternal moment now. Thank you so much, and God bless. Ciao for now.